We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hey, welcome everybody. Episode 5 of Vikings Uncensored. We're back again.
We're back.
The FCC didn't kick us off the air, so we're still here for another episode anyway.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. However that Mrs. Doubtfire thing goes.
Right.
Miss Helen? The water's boiling. Hello! Ah!
Hello.
Yeah. All right, so I'm Ryno, and with me as always, my co-host Lance. How's she going today, buddy?
It's going, man. It is going. I'm fired up. I'm ready for this draft.
We're getting close. As you guys see this episode on Friday, we will be less than 1 week away from the draft.
Indeed.
Draft is Thursday, April 29th, so it's coming up on us pretty close.
Let's get in there.
I'm getting ready. I love the draft.
Doing this show is making it go by pretty quick. I must say.
It is, and honestly, this time of the year is some of my favorite time of the NFL NFL period. I love this whole what players are coming, what players are going, who are we drafting, what are we drafting?
So much speculation for sure.
It is, but I kind of like doing the digging and checking these guys out and seeing how well I do compared to the quote unquote experts.
I like staying very mentally involved in the off season.
Yeah, it helps a lot, when you're a football nut,
I like to know what I can know. So
right, I'd like to try to at least be semi-informed on what we're talking about, so we're just not blowing smoke out our asses, up here, and try to give you guys some real honest to God information that you might find useful. So
get myself centered here.
Yeah, you were good. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Justin. Oh,
you were fine before.
Dance like you've got ants in your pants. Dance like you've got ants in your pants. Dance like you've got ants in your pants. Now stop.
All right.
I think we're good. I'm golden.
Okay.
Sorry, Anthony.
We're good
we'll
again.
See you at some point.
We're good again now.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, we'll get started here. We got a lot to go over today. We got our news segments, of course. Got another news segment we're going to pop out today. A bunch more viewer questions that have come in this week, so we're going to answer some of those. And then, of course, we've got our What the Hell segment and the Where Are They Now segments coming up later. Both I think you guys will find interesting. So without further ado, let's get rolling here. Latest news coming out of Minnesota. We had a couple of coaching updates this week. First off, co-defensive coordinator and defensive line coach Andre Patterson was also promoted.
Anything else in there?
Huh?
Any other coaching positions in there as far as he goes?
Yeah, he's the assistant to the assistant of assisting assistants for other
right,
assisting.
exactly.
But he was promoted to assistant head coach along with his current duties. So, we already brought in Paul Gunther earlier to be the senior advisor to the head coach as far as defensive stuff goes. And now we're giving Andre Patterson some more responsibilities, or at least more titles, so everybody gets a title. It's like Oprah handing out, you get a title and you get a title and you're a coordinator. That's what I am saying
for sure. Yes.
So
absolutely.
But I mean, if anybody deserves stuff like that, it's Andre Patterson. I mean, the guy's been here forever.
Man,
He
he
was
is
here,
like the Stefanski on our defense.
he was here back with Denny Green back in the late 90s. He was here for the 98 season and stuff like, in that time.
You know what I say? Get him the HC.
I mean, I want to go on offensive minded HC next time, but
yeah, I've heard that too. We've been stuck in the last decade with the DC for DC minded head coach.
Right. But anyway, congrats to Coach Patterson.
Congrats.
Hopefully you're not the next scapegoat, because we all know that you do a damn good job with what you do. So then the second one, another coaching hire for the Vikings, Robert Steeples was hired as our assistant to the special teams coach. So, and for those who aren't familiar with Robert Steeples, we got a little bit of information here for you on him. He was an undrafted free agent in 2013 by the St. Louis Rams. He came out of college in where the hell was he? Played for Memphis. Sorry.
There you go.
We could fix that part of it, but so yeah, he was an undrafted free agent out of Memphis to the Rams. And then during training camp of that year, he got cut.
Right.
So then early September of 2013, the Vikings actually picked him up.
From practice
and
squad.
The name kind of sounded vaguely familiar, but I didn't know a whole lot about him. But they put him on the practice squad, and he did get activated to the roster and played in 2 games later in the season.
Huh.
And then that would have been the last year of the Leslie Frazier era.
So he was here for a flash.
Yep. And he played the most of the Vikings out of anybody, but
okay.
And then training camp the following year, which would have been the first year of Mike Zimmer in 2014, he got released. Then a couple weeks later, he got signed by Kansas City, would have been in September of 2014, and then cut a week later. And then in November, Dallas picked him up and put him on their practice squad, and he stayed with them until preseason of 2015.
Okay.
And then got cut. And then after that, since then, he has been the head coach at his high school, DeSmet Jesuit High School, from 2016 until 2020, when the Vikings gave him a call, and now he's up to the big leagues and being a assistant special teams
coach now. Assistant.
Well, I mean, if we need anything on this team, we need more fickin' assistant coaches. So.
Everybody needs a title.
Right. So anyway, that's really the most on the Vikings news. And we got a couple other NFL nuggets. One of the big ones is that the NFLPA is pushing for the players to not report for the optional team activities, the OTAs and everything that are coming up here, right after the draft. They're citing concern with the COVID protocols and this thing, which is a bunch of bullshit, because they're running the same COVID protocols that they played under last year. And
right.
By and large, the NFL did really well.
It was pretty successful
keeping COVID in track. So, basically it's just, hey, we realize that, we can do Zoom meetings and fake it or whatever, for as long as possible, not have to go in and actually do any work, which I don't like that idea.
I don't think a lot of people do. Maybe something, I don't know. I'm not even going to draw assumptions.
I want to see him, man, especially, with the number of new guys that we've got coming in and everything, and the coaches and stuff are going to be pushing for him to come in, but
right. Yeah. There's nothing better than live reps,
Well, absolutely. You can only learn so much doing a Zoom meeting or, working out in your driveway and taping it and sending it to your coach or whatever.
Can't play football over a computer unless you're playing Madden.
Right. But anyway, with that, the Vikings players that would be affected if they chose not to show up, found this from Sport Track. Harrison Smith would miss out on $400,000 workout bonus if he refuses to show up. These players would be out $100,000 workout bonus. Danielle Hunter, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr, Delvin Tomlinson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, and CJ Ham. Then a $50,000 workout bonus is our new linebacker, Nick Vigil. And then 31.2 thousand, which, $31,200 to Mason Cole, the center / guard, that we just got from Arizona.
Right.
So, and then I've also heard the NFLPA is telling the players, we're not telling you to skip out on any money. So if you got money involved, by all means show up. But then on the other hand, they're saying, well, we don't want you guys to show up. So it's this stupid back and forth game that you always have between the owners and the players union. It gets old, it gets annoying,
Mm-hmm.
But we'll move on from that one because it'll be a recurring story until
things are, well, I think maybe who knows how long this is going to be going on.
Right.
Yeah, I got your swear jar over here in the corner.
Okay, yeah, like I said, we'd have made about $50 on the swear jar last week. So the next two more we got. There's a situation with the Rams all-pro defensive tackle Aaron Donald. Now, it came out earlier in the week that Donald was being accused of assaulting an individual at a bar.
What a story this is.
Yeah, this turned out to be, I dug into it a little bit, that Donald's lawyer came out and said he had nothing to do with it, and then a couple days later, the guy who filed the complaint.
This is shit that NFL players have to deal with.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, the guy came out later in the week, like Thursday or Friday, something like that, and issued an apology because he was wrong.
Right.
But from what it turned out as, what I read, was this guy actually started this. He took a beer bottle and swung it at Aaron Donald for some reason or another.
And Donald was trying to break it up the whole time.
Yeah, because it was the guy, part of the group that Donald was with. They were the ones that jumped this guy after he swung at Donald with the beer bottle. And Aaron Donald was the one that basically tried to break the stuff up. So then the guy came back, issued an apology, blah, 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 blah. I'm guessing he was trying to get, his 15 minutes of fame and probably some money from a highly paid NFL player.
Yeah.
Until the security cam footage of the bar and stuff came out and showed otherwise. And he's like, oh, shit. No.
Oh, that's right. They had
my bad. I made a mistake. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's not me.
No, I'm sorry. So anyway, that story seems like it's done and over with anyway, which, I don't get the stuff. I understand these people, that they think they're going to try to make a quick buck and stuff.
No, that's just one dumb story that's going to hang around Aaron Donald now forever.
No.
Hopefully not, but it's still, it was out there. Everybody heard about it, and now it's just something that's there. So
yeah,
whatever.
I think the way this ended up, people forget about it relatively quickly.
Hopefully.
People have short attention spans nowadays, but then the one other NFL news thing we've got is that this week the NFL entered into a partnership with FanDuel, DraftKings, and Caesars Entertainment for them to be the official gambling partners of the NFL.
Oh man, you better put your tinfoil hats on, people.
Well, I remember not too long ago that the NFL would raise a stink about fantasy football because they were so concerned about gambling and the integrity of the game and all this and everything else. And now all of a sudden they realized, hey, we lost money last year with this whole COVID thing. We didn't have fans. We didn't have this. Hey, we can make a crap ton of money off of gambling.
Money.
Integrity. Money. You've already got guys like Jerry Jones and stuff that do the Scrooge McDuck thing, dancing or swimming in the money bin every morning. Right. So I know it's been hard on those guys.
Don't try doing that at home because it does not work the way you think it would.
I don't know. I've never had enough money to be able to jump in that.
Jump into it.
dive into a Dixie cup of pennies is about all I'd be able to
Woo!
do. So anyway, that's basically our news for the week. Latest draft news, really nothing new this week. And I think, we're not going to hit on it real hard because we're going to save that. I think we'll make the official announcement right now, just so you guys know. Next week, Wednesday, the day before the draft, we're going to have a special episode, dealing with everything leading up to the draft.
It'll be mostly draft.
It's going to be real draft heavy type stuff, talking about the latest news and everything leading up to the first round.
Speculation.
Yep, kind of players that we might take, not only in the first round, but potentially, third round, fourth round,
undrafted free agents.
Yeah. How many times Rick Spielman's going to trade back to get 7th round picks? We'll hit that stuff real hard next week. So, I think we'll kind of limit the draft stuff this week. We got a couple of viewer questions related to that we'll kind of roll all that in here in a little bit. But the next thing we're going to hit on, we've got a new segment that Lance and I came up with this week that we want to kind of highlight some of the new players that.
Right. And this is our first time doing this segment, so I believe it will evolve as we go, and just keep your eye open for it because it'll be part of the show here going until we can't run it no more.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably not going to highlight, Joe Bag of Donuts from Bologna Technical College, that came in as an undrafted free agent or something like that. But, we'll hit on some of the bigger names from time to time, give you guys a little bit of info on, who they are, where they came from, what to expect with them, that kind of thing.
What our thoughts are.
Yep. So this week, this guy technically isn't new, but again, he kind of is.
Nobody's seen him yet on
the
field.
So we're talking about our nose tackle that we signed actually free agency in 2019, who then opted out due to the COVID because, he has health issues with some asthma and things like that. So he didn't play, but it's nose tackle Michael Pierce.
Hodges loses the ball. Judon knocks it free. Michael Pierce on the recovery.
Michael Pierce and what he did, the squat.
725 pounds. What's that bar been? Unbelievable. Undrafted, 6 foot. How do you block that? Allen. Oh, he gets crushed.
Carried by Bell. Darnold is swallowed up.
Man, am I pumped about this guy.
He finally came to TCO Performance, the training center this week, and actually for the first time met with the team, got a tour of the facilities, did all that stuff. And, kind of sat down, talked about some stuff, what he did during his layoff. He said this is the first time basically in his life, he didn't have a job for 13 months basically.
Right. He said he was kind of regretting it, but I mean, at the same time, you don't know what's going on. So.
Right. But, in his time away, one of the issues that was brought up with Pierce when he was in Baltimore was that there were times when he would show up to camp overweight, which for a guy that's already, well into the 300s, overweight is a big deal. I mean, he was pushing 400 pounds a couple of times when he came into Baltimore.
I got a little something here on Pierce from our little girl. What's her name? Courtney Cronin from ESPN there.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was saying, Pierce, who played for the Ravens during the first 4 seasons of his career, showed up to Baltimore minicamp in June of 2019, weighing 390 pounds.
That's a whole lot of weight.
That's a lot of weight right there.
That's a big dude.
It forced a defensive tackle who spent years as a competitive weightlifter to really reevaluate his regimen. When Pierce opted out, Patterson advised him to hire Andre Patterson advised him to hire a nutritionist and a trainer. Those decisions have appeared to pay off over the past months. Pierce said he weighed in at 341 during his visit to the Vikings headquarters with his lowest ever body fat.
And
So he's been hitting it pretty hard.
well, and if you saw that, we played that workout video back. Was it
With
either
episode 1, it was
episode 1.
actually, yep.
So if you want to go back and check that out, it's back in the episodes. But the man, you watch that workout video, and I mean, this guy, for a big man, he can move.
He looks good.
Yeah.
And I look for big things. Granted, he could, knock on wood, stay healthy. I look for big things out of this guy.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, a lot of people are excited that he's, to see what he can do.
That interior of the defensive line is gonna be night and day from last year. 100%.
Yeah. In his career with Baltimore, he wasn't a big sack guy, but then again, your nose tackles usually aren't.
And when you're playing at that, a godly weight that he was playing at,
when you're pushing at 375 to 390 pounds, yeah, you're not going to get in there, but your nose tackle is typically the guy that you got in there to help stuff the run anyway. And
when he's able to move at that big of a weight, and I'm speaking from somebody that is overweight himself, if you're able to move as quick as he was at 391 and trim down to 341,
that 50 pounds could be huge.
That could be huge.
And he actually said that,
and he was producing. I mean, so
right, yeah, he was. And actually, he said part of the reason why he came to Minnesota, he was a big fan of our former nose tackle, Linval Joseph, and it kind of got talking to him a little bit, and kind of got introduced to Coach Patterson. And all that stuff kind of led to a lot of the reasons why he decided to sign with the Vikings originally.
I've touched on it a little bit. I believe in Jesus. Cherry legs are going to give out there for a second. I'm a big guy. But
Well, you have to get you on the Michael Pierce workout video.
Right? No shit. Some DDP yoga or something.
Yeah, we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll have Lance do a workout video for everybody.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
You ready to tone? Well, let's warm up.
Yeah, what was I saying here now? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I got it. Get back to me. You have to cut that out. Yeah, right. So, I believe that Pierce could honestly follow in the footsteps of like Pat Williams and how he came here in his second stint in the, a different team, really blossomed. Linval Joseph, second stint on a different team, came here, really blossomed. I think it's going to be the same type of deal here with Michael Pierce.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. I really am.
So
anyway, that's kind of our, our new to the North segment, as we're calling it.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. You got that. I've actually got this is an actual can of whoop ass right here.
Oh man, I haven't tried that yet. I'm gonna have to get that.
Have you seen that video where the guy beats the crap out of that guy in the convenience store with the can?
It is hilarious.
I know. So that's to say, this is actual whoop ass in the can right here.
Man, there's a good plug for you, Twisted Tea.
Yeah, we do take sponsorship opportunities, Twisted
Tea,
if you'd like to join us. So we'd be more than happy to promote your
product
on our show. So.
Right. If any one of you big Twisted Tea execs are out there watching.
Right. Because we know we get all the big business execs watching the show. So
yeah.
There's
some truth to that. There's a little grain of salt of truth to that.
Oh, yeah. I like it to be.
Right.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna move on here because we can sit and talk in circles about cans of whoop ass.
About anything.
Right. So we started last week with a viewer question segment, and then put out that for viewers to.
It was a great response.
Submit.
I'm happy.
It was a really good response. We got 4
Thank
or 5
you guys all so
really
much.
good questions this week. So we we figured that we would hit those next here. So we'll get rolling here. Dan Hanneman off the YouTube show had posted a comment. He says Patrick Surtain would be a good pick at 14 if he's available. We were talking about cornerback being a possibility last week after the whole Jeff Gladney.
I wouldn't hate that pick. I wouldn't hate that pick.
No,
If he is there.
Surtain is the best cornerback available by a large amount. But honestly, I would be shocked if he makes it out of the top 10. I mean,
yeah, he's not. I would be shocked as well. I don't think he's going to be there.
I would be almost as shocked that he would be available as if Penei Sewell would be available when we picked.
Or Slater.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So, but then he says, but otherwise he doesn't want a cornerback at 14, which I would tend to agree with.
Yeah.
And he said,
I mean, Horn's decent, but
JC Horn has got the real potential to be a good player. But there again, he's, and they said, if we trade back and get a second round pick, then just take the best player available when it comes to our first round, which you really can't argue with.
I like that. I like that idea.
And
I do. That's great.
I think trading back is a legit possibility.
I think
it all depends how the board falls.
I think it's either or. I think trading back or trading up into the second is a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, we've got enough thirds and fourths that we could package up to move into the second.
Right, our future picks,
Right.
So
then the next one, David Bruns, who happens to be my co-host's brother, who is a loyal viewer of the show. And we thank you, David. He brought this up a little bit of on this last week, and then this is kind of a follow-up to it. He says, can Rick Dennison be blamed if Garrett Bradbury ends up being a bust? He said, also, has the Vikings even upgraded any position on offense during the offseason? Almost seems like it's been downgraded after Rudolph and Riley Reif have left, sorry. Yeah, well, we're football guys. We're not English majors.
I honestly believe Bradbury's status as being what he is still kind of open until we get somebody else. I think I still have some leniency for Bradbury to get better. I think he's going to get better.
Yeah, but, honestly, I think he was a little bit of a reach when we drafted him.
I know a lot of people like the pick though.
Yeah, I mean, because we knew we needed a center, and one thing we got to consider with Bradbury that's probably stunting his development is you have the expressway right off to his left, known as Dakota Dozier.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's nobody around him that's going to complement his play at center there.
No, and with Ezra Cleveland last year, never playing guard before and learning on the job
and progressing as he played. I mean, every week he got a little bit better.
Right. So I mean, it would be nice to see how Bradbury could do if you have a legitimate guard next to him on the left side.
I don't think all the blame can be put on Dennison, because we don't know what he would look like underneath somebody else either.
Yeah,
under a different coach.
I'm not a huge Rick Dennison fan, never have been.
No, I would, I'm rolling off topic here, but I'm a big fan of Tice. I love Tice.
I
would
too.
be great.
And we almost brought Mike Tice back, when we brought in Dennison, but they couldn't. Tice wanted to change things up with his own, verbiage and that kind of stuff, and they couldn't agree on everything in time, so we didn't end up bringing him back, which I think was a mistake.
Yeah, Tice is. I've been a big Tice guy. I think he got the short end of the stick.
He kind of got a raw. I mean, yeah, he was a meathead, but he,
I think if Tice, and this is my last spot here. If Tice was given the same type of wiggle room that Zimmer was given, I think he would have had a lot more to go with in his time here.
Oh, I think so too, because when Tice was here, he had cheap ass Red McCombs, that made basically, the position coaches and stuff were doing 4 or 5 different things and everything else because he was too goddamn cheap to sign enough coaches.
Right. I will say the dumbest thing he did though was the Randy ratio. Why do you say that shit?
Yeah. Well, like I said, Tice would say some stupid shit, but when it came down to X's and O's and stuff, he, especially with offensive line and things like that, he knows what he's doing.
Yep. Anyways,
we'll
reeling it back in. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to go off. off topic on you
We're
there.
driving down that road. We just hit the ditch every once in a while. It's
Yep,
okay.
every once in a while.
We got a 4-wheel drive. We'll get back out. All right. So anyway, the next question comes from our good friend Mary Fisk. Football Mary brings us a question. She says, if you could have a burger and a beer with any former Viking, who would it be and why?
I've been
I'll let you hit that one first, Lance.
Oh man, you're gonna let me hit this one first.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I would love to sit down and have a non-alcoholic beer. Well, maybe now that he's out of the NFL, now that you probably know who I'm talking about, I would love to sit down with Jared Allen and have a beer and a burger and talk fishing and football and just about life in general. You know, that'd be great in my opinion. I mean, there's so many Vikings I would love to sit down with, but Mr. Jared Allen would be pretty fun, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he'd be a hoot to sit down and hang with. For me, you know, there would be a couple, you know, I've already had a beer with Tommy Kramer, so I'm not going to say him.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, Tommy's a good dude. He's always been one of my favorite players. You know, he started at quarterback right about the time when I started following the Vikings. You know,
the love is there, man, for sure.
Yeah. And I even caught a pass from him one time. He was up doing a promo at one of the car dealerships here in Fargo, and
that is awesome.
He was signing autographs, and oh god, it would have been like 87, somewhere in there. So I would have been about 12.
Yeah.
But
perfect. Nice little childhood memory and a nugget there for you.
I had a bruise on my shoulder for like a week.
Wow.
Where the ball hit. I caught it, but you know, come down in, it caught me right here, and I had a big old bruise from that football. But
so when you met him like later on in life, did he remember you?
Yeah, I'm guessing not. But I mean, I meant, but the one story he did remember.
Yeah.
Because when I was standing in line waiting for my turn, there was a kid about 2 ahead of me. That you know, and Tommy said when they come up, he said, "You want a short pass or you want to go deep?" And the kid says, "I'm going deep." And he's like, "Okay," you know, snaps the ball, and he's like, "Go." And the kid's running, and he's looking over the shoulder, and he comes down, catches the ball, and as he turns, runs face first into a highline pole, just boom, and down he goes on his back. And I just remember Tommy going, "Oh God, that had to hurt."
Ooh.
And then the kid laid there for a second, and he got up and popped up and came back.
I'm okay.
Yeah, but I mentioned that to Tommy, and he started laughing. He said, "Shit, I remember that one." He said, "That was poor kid." He said,
"That was a good story."
So I mean, yeah, great memory with a former Viking, great anyway. But as far as the guy that I would probably want to do it with, and this guy, my favorite Viking player of all time, bar none, and he's actually got a bar and restaurant in Minneapolis, so could do that down there, is John Randall. I mean,
that would be
love John Randall.
Badass as well.
He's, like I said, he's my all-time favorite player. That you know, I loved how he ran his mouth and, you know, talked crap all the time to everybody, especially the rivalry between him and Brett Favre. You know,
and it was a friendly rivalry.
It was, but you know, you look back, they had that commercial where
they cashed in on it too, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
They had that one commercial where John Randall made the little Brett Favre jersey and put on the chicken, and for his training, he was chasing the chicken around in the back.
Don't worry, guys, it's coming. I'm sure Ryan will pop it in here somewhere.
I'll find it and pop it in.
6 yards of hunter green, 2 yards of gold, stick pins, heavy duty thread, and some of those iron-on transfers.
But so yeah, I think John Randall would easily be the guy that I would want to do it with.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we got a couple questions here. Oh, go ahead.
One more thing on the John Randall. I also have an affinity for John Randall because when I started watching the Vikings play was when he was really starting to turn it up. So I mean, he was great, and at the defensive tackle and doing what he was doing before Aaron Donald and man, he was the OG at that position and possibly the greatest at that position of all time.
Yep. I mean, him at that time are what the NFL wants at a defensive tackle now. The way
Yeah.
but
he
I
was
mean,
playing that position way ahead of its time for sure.
and like I said, the man had a motor that never quit. I mean, he
And
could
guessing snap counts or just knowing snap counts.
Mhm.
Oh man, it was amazing.
he literally could probably put on a uniform and have done better than a lot of the guys that we threw in at defensive tackle last year.
And then
Right
and then
now.
talking shit and backing it up.
Mhm.
Man, it was great. I could
And just the weird comments, like the Night Rider, or whatever the
Yep.
regulators mount up, we're coming.
Mount up.
All that other stuff. I mean, yep. So, but anyway, we could talk. I could talk about John Randall for several hours.
There's a whole fucking NFL films on John Randall out there, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So anyway, we'll move on to the next question. A couple of them that are kind of related here, which was kind of interesting because the one started and then the other one kind of came off of it. But
Right.
From Ted Glover, we have a question that says, if time travel were possible, which game would you go back to be able to watch live and in person at the stadium? Which one do you got, Lance?
It's so easy to say this because it was so soon, man. The Minneapolis Miracle have been great. I love that game. I can't remember myself getting so more fucking hyped for the end of a game ever when it came to the Vikings, because usually it was always the opposite happening. And the great thing was that it happened 2 years in a row. We fucked them with Diggs, and then the next year we fucked them with Rudy. So
right,
man, it was nice. An FYI for y'all, I've never been to a Vikings game ever. I've been to Twins games, never to Vikings game, never been to one. So I would hope to get there someday. Yeah, but I guess I'll go with the easy one right now and say the Minneapolis Miracle. That'd be a great one to be at, because I would have been if I was there and just knowing how I was at home.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would be running naked across the field, beer in both my hands. Ah, yeah!
and then you'd have missed the miracle throw anyway. So
Right. Thought this was America.
Yeah. But I guess for me, it's kind of, it's the other miracle game would have been the miracle to Met that the Hail Mary pass from Tommy Kramer to Ahmad Rashad.
Yeah.
Playing against Cleveland. That I've watched that game back on old video and stuff, but I never was to a game at the Met, so that that kind of adds to it too. That being there back in the old days,
Yep.
and watching that game, watching that play at the end of it live, I think would be incredible. It's very similar to the Minneapolis Miracle with Diggs, but it's
more retro, more of a Hail Mary.
Yep.
Whereas Diggs was more of a catch and run.
Yeah, it was a Hail Mary. I mean, which our lower percentage plays to begin with, bounced around 3 times and Rashad just plucked it and backed into the end zone kind of thing.
Made it look a little bit easier than what it actually was.
Yeah, but I guess that would be the game that I'd want to go back and see.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. We'll go to the next one here that kind of piggybacks off of that. Tony Janetto asks, he said, if you were able to go back in time, so we've got a kind of a time travel theme going here, and able to change one play from one game in Vikings history, which one would you choose?
Me go ahead and go first.
Yeah, I mean, you and I we're probably talking the same game here anyway, so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that 98 game, Gary Anderson wide left.
Yeah,
I would give my left nut to get that ball back and let him kick that one again.
Yeah, I mean, because I honestly believe with that team, we'd have beat Denver in the Super Bowl, and Elway wouldn't have got his first Super Bowl. We would have gotten ours. It's just that team.
Everybody wanted to see Minnie and Denver go at it that year. Everybody thought it was gonna be
Well,
Minnie
and it should have been. It really
and
should have been.
Denver going at it. Fucking field goal kickers. Fuck y'all. Where am I at?
Well, we've all got
4 F-bombs today?
yeah, at least. We've all got kicker PTSD as Vikings fans, you know, but
We do. Every time
ever since '98, really.
every time a kicker lines up to kick one for us, my butt cheeks get pinched together.
Yeah, there again, that might be a Vikings after hours or a Vikings Uncensored after hour podcast discussion, but we don't.
That
need to
hits
go
the
there.
airways at midnight.
Yeah. Huh. All right, so we'll move on to the next question here. Our last one for the week comes from our buddy Drew Bunting, and Drew asks. He said Drew wants to know who each of us would pick at if we stay at 14 in the first round here, and he of course wants reasonable pick. He doesn't want us saying, well, we're going to get Trevor Lawrence at pick 14, or we're going to get, you know, whoever kind of a thing. But I'll let you go ahead first on this one again, Lance.
Who do I want at 14? And just one person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Slater. That'd be my guy this year. I don't see Lance falling to us. If there was more believability to Lance actually falling, I would say Lance. But I think there's a little bit more believability that Slater may. There's still a possibility the door's open there and Slater falling. I'm going to go with Slater. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, obviously offensive line is, you know, a huge need for us, and you're kind of on the same wavelength I was on. You know, if I was running the show and, you know, one of the quarterbacks, Justin Fields or Trey Lance, were to fall, that would be who I would take. But knowing how the Vikings are operating and knowing that, you know, both Spielman's and Zimmer's seats are going to be fairly warm entering the season, they're not going to pick a developmental quarterback. I just don't see them doing it. Whether they should or whether they shouldn't, I don't see it happening. But the guy that my first pick, and I kind of mentioned this last week, would be Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle out of Virginia Tech.
I'd be happy with that too.
You know, I think I like Slater a lot, and I'd be happy with that pick.
You know what really?
And the nice thing with Slater, we got to remember from last week that if we do pick Slater, Lance is buying everybody beer. So,
hey man, I'll do it.
But you know, I think Slater's going to be long gone. I believe he's probably going to Carolina.
Yeah, but I think so too.
You know, we'll dive into this more next week. But I think Christian Darrisaw would be my pick at 14.
It really chaps my ass that we have to fucking draft offensive lineman in the first round because we can't figure it out.
Yeah, but you know,
if I'm running the show, which right now obviously I'm stuck drafting the offensive lineman because we have to. But I wouldn't put.
But I mean, you know, we got to give Rick time. He's only been here 16 years. I mean, we can't rush these kind of things.
There's still time for him to, you know, turn this big.
You know, he's still new at this. He's only been here 16 years, so you know. We got to give him a chance. We can't just rip on him, you know. That's not fair.
And he's had his misses, and he's had his hits and his misses. I don't know how I feel about the guy.
I think it's time to move on from him, but that's another discussion for another time too.
Yeah, it would be a good discussion to have later on down the road. I'm not ready for that one yet.
No, we do have one more question, kind of, that was tying in with that discussion. Bill asked us, he said, are the Vikings ever going to dump Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer? I mean, we kind of touched on that with the last.
Man, I didn't want to talk about this.
So, you know,
I think.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think Zimmer's seat is pretty hot going in, more so than Rick's, just depending on how this draft goes. You know, you can't be having any more Jeff Gladney picks or Mike Hughes picks like that because.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think both of their seats are pretty warm now. You know, we always make, you know, oh, Slick Rick. He's not called Slick Rick because of his draft deals and his wheeling and dealing, that kind of stuff. He's called Slick Rick because the man is like a used car salesman. I mean, he's so full of shit, but he can make people believe the bullshit. And
I
You
mean,
know,
we had him on our show. You guys heard for yourself.
right. But you know, the Wilfs have had a high amount of trust in Spielman. You know, and Rick pretty much runs the show. You know, the Wilfs don't get involved a whole lot. You know, to a point. I mean, there's certain instances, you know, like the rumor where
Well, he hit on Peterson, so they're probably like, "Oh, he hit on Peterson. How can we let this guy go? What an amazing pick he was."
yeah. So I mean, Rick is a little more of a question mark, but you know, if we don't make a playoff run, I can easily see Spielman throwing Zimmer under the bus and driving over him and backing up again and driving over him a second time to try to
Yeah.
save his own job.
Yeah.
So
I think Zimmer's seat's a little bit higher than Rick's.
I do too. Honestly, I think they both need to go, but
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
for better or for worse, they're all tied
I'm
together.
okay at
really.
this point with moving on because, like you said before, it's been 16 years.
Right.
At some point, you gotta say, "Hey, changes have gotta happen," and if that means cleaning out the whole entire house,
Mm-hmm.
if that's what's gonna bring us a championship, then fucking do it.
Well, and that's what we, you know, this whole being decent every year is better than swinging for the fences.
I
kind
want
of thing, but
championships, man.
I
I,
do too.
want to
I-
be mentioned
you know-
in the same sentence with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots and the elite.
I just want one trophy before.
Let's start with one.
Well,
Let's
I'm
start
still
with
young
one.
enough to understand. To you know, I don't. I'm not. My mind isn't gone, and I'm sitting
Hey,
in a
man,
chair
you're gonna be a
drooling in a corner
grandpa
someplace.
within the next 10 years, most likely. So hopefully we
Well,
can get one before you got to tell your grandkids about it.
I don't want to get to. I don't want to get into that part of it right now. I just had my daughter had prom last night, and watching all these girls that I've seen, you know, since they
Feeling
were
old, man.
since they were in kindergarten, now as seniors doing grand march on prom, it just made me feel old. You know, it was tough on me to watch this stuff because I mean, it's like, my God, these kids are all grown up now.
I can't make it to the bathroom, so you got a bottle sitting next to your chair at the computer.
Back in my day, yeah.
You damn whippersnappers.
Damn, get out my lawn, you damn kids. You know? But anyway, we'll move on here.
Right.
Our next segment is our weekly fun segment that we bring up. You know, it pulls in the oddest or most
I was
mind-boggling
honestly
stuff.
really surprised with this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I saw this and honestly, the first thing I said was,
What the hell?
What the hell?
yeah. So our what the hell for the week this week is the news.
There it is
There it is
again. Gotta
again.
get that one
I keep-
this week.
I keep tripping over my tongue at least once a week. So there, I got it in. So we're good for the rest of the show here.
Might as well have a plate of food sit next to you and eat it while you're talking. Right.
Take a drink of my whoop ass there and it'll be good.
I got coffee this week. I decided to lay off the alcohol a little bit.
No. The White Claws are getting to you.
Yeah, those White Claws, man, they're just rough.
So anyway, our what the hell for this week was the announcement that Netflix, along with Happy Madison Productions, have greenlit a movie about the year that Sean Payton was suspended from the NFL. Would have been back in 2012 for the Bountygate scandal.
What the
And they're picking Kevin James to play the part of Sean Payton.
the King of Queens himself?
Yeah. Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Get out of here.
I mean, which realistically is what Sean Payton should have never been more than a mall cop after that whole deal anyway. But
Sean Payton is so smug.
I hate.
Oh my God.
There's probably not a single person in the NFL, coach or player, that I hate more than Sean Payton, unless it's Greg Williams.
I love when he gets overconfident and he just gets the shit shoved down his throat.
That was one of the best things about the Minneapolis Miracle game. You know, right before that, you know, when the Saints scored and went ahead.
I know he's all like on the sidelines.
He's out there
doing
mocking the skull chant and all this other stuff. And then when Diggs rolls that touchdown in, I
lost it, man. I was like, no way. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they keep whining
Then we had to
about
go, hey,
how
you got
they
fucking
keep how
Philly
they
that
keep
next
getting screwed, because they're, what was it, 3 years in a row, they lost to us on the Miracle game. Then the following year they lost to
Was
with
it the
that-
Rams?
to the Rams with
In
that
the
blatant
inter-
pass interference play that
yup.
didn't get called, which created that whole pass interference is reviewable thing
Which
that
ended
we
up
had for a
costing us the
year.
game against Green Bay.
Yeah, because we had that Delvin
Fucking
Cook
Diggs.
offensive pass interference game too. They called him for offensive pass interference after the fact, which was stupid.
Some bullshit.
And then, of course, then we beat him again the following year in overtime with that deep bomb to Thielen, and then the Kyle Rudolph
And the thing
catching the back of the end zone.
is both of those games we should have beat them handily. But
Is Netflix really this hard up though to come up with new content that they're going to do a movie based on Sean Payton helping coach his kids' peewee football team for a year? I mean, being it's Happy Madison, I'm guessing it's going to be real thought provoking and deep, but and
it'll be very touching.
No offense to Adam Sandler and Happy Madison Productions. I love good.
I
love comedy stuff. I'm a big Adam Sandler guy.
Yeah.
Mindless humor and stuff like that. I really enjoy that kind of stuff because you can turn your brain off and not have to think. You can just enjoy the movie kind of thing.
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it. You can do it all night long.
But I can honestly say this probably is a movie that I'm not going to waste an hour and a half or whatever it's going to be to watch.
No. The King of Queens has let me down on this one.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a big Kevin James fan too. I mean, I like his stuff, but
I'm a big Leah Remy fan.
Yeah. Can't argue that one either. But so there's so many other things you could do a better movie about than Sean freaking Payton.
He probably loves it.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Promos for the show.
Yeah, and then he's going to get money off of it because it's based on him and this and everything else. I'm sure. So it's, and they still got a Super Bowl out of it, even though what the hell. But
the pity Super Bowl.
Our Super Bowl, we would have won that. I mean, granted, Brett Favre.
New Orleans Pity Bowl.
New Orleans, yeah, well, yeah, it was. Oh, they deserve this after Hurricane Katrina, this, everything else.
How dare you, Ryno?
Yeah, I know. How dare I not feel bad for the
shame
for the
on
New Orleans
you,
Saints? Yes, for shame. Bad. I'll go sit in the corner now for a while.
Right.
Our next segment again here, another one that we've gotten real good feedback from everybody. It's this week we're talking about a pretty big name from the Vikings defense on the segment that we call Where Are They Now?
Where are they now?
All right, so our Where Are They Now player for this week is one defensive tackle, Keith Millard. Here again, one of my favorite players growing up. I mean, the guy was a badass.
He was a little bit before my time, just a tad bit before my time, but I'm also the type of the guy that goes back and watches film, and this guy was an animal.
Yep. I mean,
he had a high motor before they even coined the term high motor.
Yep. He was the more or less the John Randall before John Randall got here.
But the thing is like he had that short career, but that short career was huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
And, and as good as he was, I mean, he's one of the 50 greatest Vikings.
I have to agree.
As good as he was, if he hadn't had that knee injury that derailed his career, I think he'd have been that much better. He'd have played that much longer, afterwards.
And this guy's story is just as like captivating and as interesting as like Brandon McDaniel's. I mean, it's right up there with it. So
right. I mean, everybody knows the whole, the deal where he got into a altercation when he drove his Corvette into a drive-through window down in at training camp, and then the police showed up. He's like, my arms are more powerful than your guns and that kind of stuff, but no,
I mean,
Lance,
who doesn't? We're all human at the end of the day. We're all human.
But I mean, he was a real intense dude, but you got some more stuff on him, so I'll let you take it.
I do. All right, let's take this one. So Keith retired from the NFL after the 94 season. He was never the same again after blowing out his knee in the 4th game of the 1990 season. Back in those times, ACL was a much bigger deal than what it is nowadays. When you blew out your ACL pre-1990, your career was basically kaput. So and if it wasn't, your body healed well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So he played sparingly in Seattle after leaving the Vikings. He played on that team from Wisconsin, the fucking Packers. Where he unfortunately suffered a broken hand. He was planning to retire before being talked back into playing another season for the Eagles when he officially retired in 1994. Millard, as many of us fans know, went on to coach at various ranks from high school to the college to the NFL. Millard continued to do this until 2013, when his wife basically said, "Hey, Keith, you need to slow down, take some time to watch your kids grow up and see things in your life that are more interesting outside the world of football." So ever since 2013, that's exactly what Keith has been doing. He's been taking time to spend with his family. He's become a stay-at-home dad while also becoming a better father, husband, and most of all, instead of dealing with the long days revolving around football, he's been able to step back from the game and watch his family grow and build those strong family connections that everybody needs. Because at the end of the day, all you have is family.
Yep.
He was quoted as saying, "There's a huge adjustment from 14 hours every day and the pressure of the game that you used to get used to than going to seemingly nothing." He said, "It took me a couple of years to get used to it. Every year I think about getting back into the football thing, but reality kicks in and I just can't do it anymore." And there's a lot of truth that at some point you just got to say, "Hey man, I just can't do it."
Mm-hmm.
And then his coach at Washington State was quoted as saying, "He's one of my biggest accomplishments in the sense of I'm proud of what he has become because I know where he came from. I knew how hard his journey was, and I know what a commitment he has made over the years to get to where he is and to make the decisions that he is making now. I love how much he loves his family and raising his kids and how much he is enjoying them. It just makes me feel that's what coaching is all about. I am very proud of Keith Millard. Really, really proud." And there you have it, folks. Keith Millard, the family man.
Yeah. And, and Millard does get a little bit of taste of the football stuff. He is involved with the Vikings to an extent.
You don't,
He
that's
does
just like any,
some appearances and things like that.
that's like any great athlete. You never really, really let it go.
No.
It's kind of always there.
Mm-hmm. But I know he does every once in a while. He does some golf stuff. I know with Tommy Kramer and a few things.
Right.
Some of the stuff like that. He was back and blew the Gallagher a couple of years ago.
I'm sure he enjoys it too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's but you look back and that line in the 80s that he played with. You had Chris Dolman on the outside next to him. Then you had Millard in it 3 tech, and you had Henry Thomas,
Henry
at
Thomas,
nose
yep.
tackle. And then, a few guys over on the left side, whether it was Al Noga,
Studwell behind him.
Studwell behind, that was a really good defense back in
And
the
Browner as
mid to
well,
late
even
80s.
back
Browner,
farther.
Carl Lee,
Yep.
they were all there about the same time. It was and you had old Sergeant Rock as the defensive coordinator, as they called him.
Was that the Burnsy years, the 80s?
Burnsy was, this was
The late 80s was Burnsy, I believe.
Yeah, Burns was the head coach during most of his time here, or Millard's time here. But and of course Burnsy himself was the offensive coordinator for Bud Grant when he was here. So
right. Yeah, those two had a good relationship, and probably do still to this day.
Yeah. So he's Vikings family, and he's he always will be.
Right. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah. So and it's nice to see these guys that played here for a long time that come back. That either stay in the Minneapolis area, do stuff with the team, things like that.
Aren't going on to become criminals.
Right. But Millard's one of those guys. So and like I said, he was one of my first favorite players, I guess you could say. By the mid 80s,
he was all intensity all the time.
Yep. I loved the way he played, and the same kind of stuff that endeared me to John Randall endeared me to Millard, Chris Dolman, and those guys, that all played with a lot of heart and a lot, played their.
And Dolman had a second stint here later on in his career.
Yeah, he came back for the part of the last season or something like that. But rest in peace,
played pretty decent as well. But
anyway, so I mean, that's about all we've got for this week. And like we mentioned earlier in the week, this show will debut on a Friday. And as always, 6
p.m. Central.
Yep. But then draft week, April 28th is a Wednesday.
The day before the
draft. Our show for that week will be coming out on that Wednesday.
We'll be taping on Tuesday of that week.
Yep.
So if you have any draft related questions,
we're gonna be draft heavy. We're gonna be hitting it hard. Talking about players that we think fit with the Vikings. Any news that comes up, any more trades, things like that.
If you have anything draft related to suggest, go ahead and suggest it in the comments below.
Yep. Put it in either here on the YouTube channel, on Twitter, or on our Facebook page. We read all that stuff, and we'll definitely bring it in the show. Like I said, we want to go real draft heavy that day, being it's kind of a big deal for the NFL, with draft coming up. So, and then of course we're gonna do the pre-show on Wednesday, but the main event that you guys all need to check out is go to the Vikings Report on Thursday, the night of the draft.
Right. Live draft show.
Drew and Ted are going to do a live draft show, and they're going to have Christopher Gates from the Daily Norseman as their guest for the whole first round, not just the Viking stuff, but the whole first round. So, you guys need to check that out too.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll all be there. We'll be in the comments, along with the live show. So, but that's all we got for this week. So why don't you take us out, Lance?
First off, I would love to say thank you to all the regulars that I see every Friday on the live chat. Doc, Raymond, Miss Mary Fisk, Drew and Ted coming to watch our show. Bad fucking ass.
We love you guys. We love all, the support that you're giving us. The words of encouragement, it's always a little stressful when you're starting out a new venture like this, but thank you guys so much for
Marie. I know you're out there. If you're watching, thanks for watching.
And
my brother David, thank you for watching.
We enjoy everything you guys bring, the questions, the comments, the jalapeno spicy hot takes that some of you
anything
bring up, and for anybody new, if this is your first episode, we'd really appreciate you subscribe to our channel, click the bell so that you don't
go back and watch the previous episodes.
Go back,
acquainted.
All of our episodes are on the YouTube page, so you can go back and watch those. And just thank you everybody for we've made it 5 episodes now. And
thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for providing us with some questions.
You know, we're having a blast doing this, and you know, as long as you guys keep watching, we're going to keep putting out shows. So,
We strive to put the most entertaining shit into one show for you all to watch. So if you got any ideas,
trying
even
anyway.
yeah, we try.
Yeah. I mean, if there's something that you guys would like to see or anything like that, comment on that too, you know, and, you know, like we said before, even if you don't like what you saw, you know, I know we're not everybody's cup of tea, you know, we're not going to apologize for that because we are who we are.
Right.
You know, we talk from the heart, you know, stuff we believe in. Whether you agree with us or whether you don't agree with us, make a comment. You know, if you can tell us that we have no clue what the hell we're talking about, we might not disagree with you. You know, we might not, you know, it all depends on what's, you know, on the topic. But again, thank you everybody. And we will see you on Wednesday.
Also that week, we won't be having a show on that Friday.
Yeah, we won't have the Friday show. It'll be Wednesday, one time only.
And then it'll be Friday after that for the next one.
Where we'll break down everything that happened on.
There'll be a lot to talk about the next couple of weeks.
There will be. So thanks again, everybody, for watching, and we'll catch you on Wednesday next week.
Keep coming
One
back,
time only
guys.
show. All right. Good night, everybody.
See ya.